The underestimation. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the Galactic Confederation reigned supreme. For millennia, they had explored, conquered, and assimilated countless worlds into their domain. Their advanced technology and unified purpose made them unstoppable, or so they thought. High Counselor Zaxxanar stood before the holographic display of a blue-green planet, his tentacles waving in agitation. "This is the newly discovered world?" he asked, his multifaceted eyes narrowing. "Yes, High Counselor," replied Science Officer Kelthra, her scales shimmering with excitement. "We've designated it Earth. It's teeming with life, including a sapient species that calls themselves humans." Zaxxanar scoffed, a sound like bubbles popping in viscous liquid. "Another primitive world to add to our collection. What's their technological level?" Kelthra hesitated. "They've achieved rudimentary spaceflight, High Counselor. They've sent probes to nearby planets and have a small orbital station." "Hardly impressive," Zaxxanar dismissed. "Prepare a standard conquest protocol. We'll have this Earth under our control within a solar cycle." As the meeting adjourned, Fleet Commander Vorkath approached Zaxxanar. "High Counselor, if I may, perhaps we should observe these humans more closely before moving to conquer. Our initial scans show some anomalies." Zaxxanar's tentacles writhed in annoyance. "Anomalies? Explain." Vorkath projected a series of images: human cities, vehicles, and weapons. "Their technological progress is erratic. In some areas, they're centuries behind us. In others, they're advancing at an alarming rate. And their weapons, they're designed for maximum destruction, often at the cost of efficiency." "You sound almost afraid, Commander," Zaxxanar sneered. Vorkath's exoskeleton flushed a deep blue. "Cautious, High Counselor. We've never encountered a species quite like this." "Enough," Zaxxanar waved a tentacle dismissively. "We are the Galactic Confederation. We've conquered worlds you couldn't imagine. These humans will be no different. Proceed with the invasion plans." As Vorkath left, Zaxxanar turned back to the holographic display. The blue-green planet rotated slowly, oblivious to the fate that awaited it. Little did the High Counselor know, this decision would mark the beginning of the Confederation's greatest challenge. On Earth, life continued as usual. In a small research facility in Geneva, Dr. Elena Rodriguez pored over data from deep space telescopes. Her eyes widened as she noticed an anomaly: a series of objects moving at impossible speeds towards the solar system. "Dr. Chen," she called out, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. "You need to see this." Dr. Wei Chen hurried over, his usually calm demeanor shaken by the urgency in Elena's voice. As he looked at the data, his face paled. This can't be right. These objects are moving faster than light. It's impossible." Elena shook her head. "Not impossible. Just not possible for us. Dr. Chen, I think we're about to make first contact." As the two scientists stared at each other, the weight of their discovery settling in, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. On screens all around them, the same message flashed: "Unknown objects entering solar system." This is not a drill. Thousands of kilometers above Earth, the Confederation's advance fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Vorkath stood on the bridge of the flagship, his compound eyes taking in the view of the blue planet. "Primitive defenses detected," Commander, reported a sensor officer. "Rudimentary satellites and a small space station. No significant threat." Vorkath chittered thoughtfully. "Commence standard intimidation protocol. Let's see how these humans react." On Earth, panic ensued as the alien ships appeared in the sky. Governments scrambled to respond, militaries were put on high alert, and civilians watched in awe and terror as the massive vessels positioned themselves around the planet. In Washington, D.C., President Samantha Carter stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by her advisors. "What are our options?" she demanded. General Marcus Blackwood, a veteran of multiple conflicts, spoke up. Madam President, our weapons are useless against their technology. We're completely outmatched. There must be something we can do, Carter insisted, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. As if in response, every screen and device on Earth suddenly came to life with the same message, translated into all languages. People of Earth, we are the Galactic Confederation. Your planet is now under our control. Resist, and you will be annihilated. Submit, and you may be granted a place in our glorious empire. President Carter straightened her back, her eyes flashing with determination. Like hell we will, she muttered. Turning to her team, she said, get me in touch with every world leader. If we're going down fighting. In the Geneva Research Facility, Elena and Wei worked frantically, analyzing every bit of data they could gather about the alien ships, their technology. It's incredible, Wei mumbled, his fingers flying over the keyboard. Elena nodded, her mind racing. But look at these energy readings. They're not infinite. They have limitations. If we can understand their tech, maybe we can find a weakness. As Earth prepared for what seemed like an inevitable defeat, the Confederation's fleet hung in the sky, a sword of Damocles over humanity's head. Vorkath watched the planet with growing unease. The humans weren't responding as expected. There was fear, yes, but also defiance. Commander, a communication officer called out. We're detecting transmissions all over the planet. They're coordinating, preparing to fight back. Vorkath's exoskeleton paled. Impossible. No species has ever resisted at this stage. Prepare the subjugation beams. But as the Confederation prepared to unleash its advanced weaponry, humanity was already adapting, already planning. In labs, in military bases, in homes and schools, humans were doing what they did best, facing the impossible with ingenuity, courage, and an indomitable spirit. The Galactic Confederation had made a grave miscalculation. They had looked at humanity's technology and seen primitives. They had looked at Earth's divisions and seen weakness. They had failed to see the potential, the adaptability, the sheer determination that had allowed humans to survive and thrive against all odds. As the first shots of the war were about to be fired, one thing became clear. Challenging humanity would prove to be the Galactic Confederation's greatest mistake. The battle for Earth and the future of the galaxy was about to begin. The resistance begins. The Confederation's attack came swiftly and mercilessly. Massive energy beams lanced down from the alien ships, targeting military installations and government centers. But humanity, despite its apparent technological inferiority, was not caught entirely unprepared. In the skies above Washington, D.C., a squadron of F-35 fighters screamed towards an approaching Confederation dropship. Captain Sarah Phantom Chen, the squadron leader, gritted her teeth as she locked onto the alien craft. All units, fire at will, she commanded. A barrage of missiles streaked towards the dropship. Most were swatted away by energy fields, but a few found their mark, causing the alien craft to shudder and lose altitude. On the ground, Marine Corps Colonel Jack Harper watched the dogfight with a mix of pride and concern. That's it. Show these bastards what we're made of, he muttered. Turning to his team, he barked. Prepare for ground assault. Remember your training. We may be outgunned, but we're not outmatched. As the dropship crashed into the Potomac River, a cheer went up from the human defenders. But their celebration was short-lived. More alien craft were descending, disgorging troops that looked like a nightmarish blend of insect and machine. In Geneva, Elena and Wei had turned their research facility into an impromptu war room. Screens displayed battle data from around the world as they coordinated with other scientists and military strategists. The aliens' energy shields, Elena mused, her eyes darting between screens. They're not consistent. There are fluctuations, especially after they fire their main weapons. We nodded, furiously typing. If we can predict those fluctuations, maybe we can time our attacks to exploit them. Their theories were put to the test sooner than expected. A Confederation battlecruiser appeared over the city, its weapons charging. Alina's eyes widened as she saw the energy readings spike. "Now," she shouted into a comlink. "Fire everything now." From hidden bunkers around Geneva, a volley of experimental electromagnetic pulse weapons fired. As the alien ship's shields fluctuated, the EMPs struck home. The battlecruiser's lights flickered, and it listed to one side, its weapons going dark. On the bridge of the Confederation flagship, Vorkath watched in disbelief as reports of resistance poured in from around the planet. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They're savages. They should be cowering in fear." A tactical officer approached, his exoskeleton a sickly green. "Commander, we've lost contact with battlecruiser Zenthkar over a place called Geneva, and our ground forces are facing unexpectedly fierce resistance in multiple locations." Vorkath's mandibles clicked in agitation. This was supposed to be a simple subjugation. Intensify the attack. Show these humans the true might of the Confederation. But as the battle raged on, it became clear that this would be no simple subjugation. In New Delhi, Indian scientists had repurposed their anti-satellite weapons to target the alien ships. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazilian hackers launched cyberattacks that confused Confederation communication systems. And in Nairobi, Kenyan bioengineers were already studying captured alien tissue samples, looking for weaknesses. Humanity's greatest strength, its diversity and adaptability, was turning the tide. Where the Confederation expected a disorganized and primitive response, they found a species united in its determination to survive. President Carter, now operating from a secure bunker, addressed the nation and the world. "My fellow humans," she began, her voice steady and resolute. "We face the greatest threat in our history, but we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day, not just as Americans, but as citizens of Earth." Her words, broadcast around the world, ignited a fire in the hearts of billions. From the streets of Tokyo to the savannas of Africa, humans rallied to defend their home. In orbit, the crew of the International Space Station watched the battle unfold with a unique perspective. Commander Yuri Petrov, a veteran Russian cosmonaut, made a fateful decision. "If this is humanity's last stand," he told his crew, "then we will make it count." Using the station's maneuvering thrusters, they set the ISS on a collision course with one of the Confederation's smaller ships. As they approached, Petrov opened a channel to Earth. "For humanity," he said simply, before the ISS rammed into the alien vessel. The resulting explosion temporarily blinded orbital sensors, creating a gap in the Confederation's defense screen. On the ground, Colonel Harper and his Marines seized the opportunity. They launched a daring raid on a Confederation ground base, capturing vital alien technology. "Dr. Rodriguez," Harper called over a secure line. "We've got something you need to see. It's incredible." As Alina pored over the captured tech, her eyes widened in realization. This changes everything," she breathed. "They're faster than light drives. They're energy weapons. Why, I think we can reverse engineer this." The tide of battle had shifted. Humanity, facing extinction, had not only survived the initial onslaught but was beginning to push back. The Confederation, for the first time in its long history, faced an enemy that refused to be conquered. Vorkath, watching another of his ships fall to human ingenuity, felt a chill run down his exoskeleton. "High Counselor," he reported to Zaxnar, "we may have miscalculated. These humans, they're unlike anything we've ever encountered." Zaxnar's holo image flickered with rage. "Impossible. They are primitives. Crush them, Vorkath, or I'll find someone who can." As the communication ended, Vorkath turned to stare at the blue planet below. He had come expecting an easy victory. Instead, he found himself in the fight of his life against a species that seemed to thrive on adversity. The battle for Earth raged on, but one thing was becoming clear. Humanity would not go down without a fight. And in that fight, they were proving to be far more formidable than anyone, human or alien, could have imagined. The Galactic Confederation's greatest mistake was not just challenging humanity. It was underestimating the incredible potential that lay within this young, fierce species. As the resistance grew stronger, the galaxy watched in awe, wondering if they were witnessing the birth of a new superpower. The turning point. 6 months into the war, Earth was a changed planet. Shattered cities stood as testament to the Confederation's destructive power, but amid the ruins, a new human civilization was emerging, one forged in the crucible of interstellar conflict. In what was once Silicon Valley, now a sprawling complex of laboratories and factories, Elena Rodriguez stood before a holographic display, her eyes shining with excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen," she addressed the assembled team of scientists and engineers from around the world, "I give you humanity's first faster-than-light drive." The room erupted in cheers as the hologram showed a sleek, prototype spacecraft. Wei Chen, now sporting a cybernetic arm lost in an alien attack, stepped forward. "With this, we can take the fight to them. But there's more." He gestured, and the hologram changed to show a weapon schematic. "We've also developed our first energy weapons based on Confederation tech. We're calling it the Excalibur Project." On the other side of the planet, in a hidden base beneath the Amazon rainforest, Colonel Jack Harper, now General Harper, reviewed the latest battle reports. "We've pushed them back to the moon," he told his international team of strategists. "But they're regrouping. We need to strike now, before they can reinforce." President Carter's face appeared on a screen, looking older but more determined than ever. "You'll have your chance, General. Operation Cosmic Spear is a go. Godspeed." In orbit, Captain Sarah Chen sat in the cockpit of the HFY-01, Earth's first faster-than-light capable fighter. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of humanity's hopes on her shoulders. "Phantom to control. All systems go. Ready for the first human FTL jump." "Godspeed, Phantom," came the response. "Give 'em hell." With a flash of light, the HFY-01 disappeared, reappearing seconds later behind the Confederation. "Fleet orbiting the moon." Sarah's voice crackled over the comm, filled with awe and determination. "Control, this is Phantom. FTL jump successful. I'm behind enemy lines. They don't see me yet." On Earth, in command centers and labs across the globe, humans held their breath. This was the moment they had been working towards, the first strike that would show the Confederation that humanity was not just resisting, but fighting back. Sarah's targeting computer locked onto the nearest Confederation battlecruiser. "For Earth," she whispered and fired. The Excalibur weapon lanced out, a beam of energy that cut through the alien ship shields like they weren't there. The battlecruiser exploded in a spectacular fireball, catching the entire Confederation fleet off guard. "All units, attack." General Harper's voice boomed across all channels. From hidden bases on Earth and Mars, hundreds of newly built human ships emerged, equipped with reverse-engineered Confederation tech. The battle for the Sol system had begun in earnest. On the Confederation flagship, now retreated to the outer edges of the solar system, Vorkath watched in disbelief as his fleet was decimated. "Impossible," he muttered. "How could they have advanced so quickly?" The communication officer approached, his exoskeleton pale with fear. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the humans." President Carter's face appeared on the main screen, her expression stern but composed. "This is President Samantha Carter of Earth. You came to our world, threatened our people, and thought we would submit. You were wrong. We offered you peace, and you chose war. Now, you'll see what humanity is truly capable of. Retreat now, or face total defeat." Vorkath's mandibles clicked in agitation. For the first time in his long military career, he felt true fear. "Send word to the High Council," he ordered. "We need reinforcements, all of them." As the battle raged across the solar system, news of humanity's resistance spread through the galaxy. On countless worlds under Confederation control, subjected species watched and whispered. If humans could fight back, could they? In the Galactic Confederation's capital, High Counselor Zaxanar faced a crisis. Reports of uprisings on a dozen worlds had reached him, all inspired by Earth's resistance. How could we have miscalculated so badly? He raged. An aide, braver or more foolish than the rest, spoke up. High Counselor, our initial assessments of Earth were flawed. We judged them by their technology, not their potential, their adaptability, their drive to survive and thrive. It's unlike anything we've encountered. Zaxanar's tentacles writhed in fury, but deep down, a cold realization was setting in. The Confederation had made a grave mistake, and now the consequences were spiraling beyond their control. Back on Earth, in a secure bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, President Carter met with the leaders of Earth's nations. The mood was cautiously optimistic, but tensions remained high. "We've won a significant victory," Carter began, "but the war is far from over. The Confederation will return, and when they do, they'll throw everything they have at us." The Chinese premier nodded gravely. "Then we must be ready. Our factories work day and night, producing ships and weapons, but we need more than just military might." "Agreed," the Nigerian president chimed in. "We need to reach out to other species in the galaxy. Surely we're not the only ones who have suffered under Confederation rule." As the leaders debated strategy, Dr. Rodriguez and her team made another breakthrough. Bursting into the meeting, her eyes wild with excitement, she announced, "Madam President, everyone, we've cracked their communication network. We can listen in on every transmission in Confederation space." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. With this intelligence advantage, humanity could anticipate the Confederation's every move. President Carter stood, her voice filled with determination. "This is our chance, not just to defend Earth, but to liberate the galaxy. It's time for Operation Cosmic Freedom." As word spread of the new operation, humanity rallied like never before. Ships were built, armies trained, and plans laid. The Confederation had awakened a sleeping giant, and now the galaxy would feel its wrath. In the depths of space, on a small, unremarkable planet, a young alien child looked up at the night sky. "What's that, Papa?" she asked, pointing at a bright new star. Her father, a grizzled veteran of failed rebellions against the Confederation, felt hope for the first time in decades. "That, my dear, is humanity. And they're coming to set us free." The galaxy held its breath as humanity prepared for its greatest challenge yet. The Confederation had made its greatest mistake in challenging Earth, and now they would face the consequences. The war for galactic freedom had begun, with humanity leading the charge. The tables turned. The next 2 years saw a complete reversal of fortunes in the galactic war. Humanity, once on the brink of subjugation, had become a force that struck fear into the heart of the Confederation. Operation Cosmic Freedom, humanity's ambitious plan to liberate the galaxy, was in full swing. Earth's fleets, now numbering in the thousands, struck Confederation strongholds across multiple star systems. Each victory brought more allies to the human cause, as subjugated species saw a chance for freedom. On the jungle world of Xerxes II, General Jack Harper led a joint human-alien force against a major Confederation base. As energy weapons flashed and ships dueled in the sky, Harper couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. "General," a voice called out. It was Zokthar, a resistance leader from a silicon-based species. "We've breached their defenses. The planetary shield generator is vulnerable." Harper nodded, his battle-worn face set with determination. "All units, converge on the generator. Victory here could turn the tide for this entire sector." As the battle raged, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked tirelessly in her lab aboard the HS Prometheus, Earth's most advanced research vessel. The ship's faster-than-light drive hummed as it orbited a neutron star, collecting data that could revolutionize their understanding of the universe. Dr. Rodriguez, the ship's AI announced, "We're detecting an anomaly in the star's radiation pattern. It matches the encrypted data you extracted from the Confederation archives." Elena's eyes widened. "This is it," she breathed. "The key to their faster-than-light network. With this, we could cripple their entire infrastructure." But as Elena prepared to transmit her findings to Earth, alarms blared throughout the ship. Multiple Confederation warships detected. The AI warned. "They found us." In the cockpit of her advanced fighter, now upgraded with technology that would have seemed like magic just years ago, Captain Sarah "Phantom" Chen led her squadron against the Confederation ambush. "Prometheus, this is Phantom," she called out. "We'll hold them off. Get that data back to Earth, whatever the cost." The space around the neutron star erupted into a furious battle. Human fighters danced between energy beams, their maneuvers pushing the limits of what was thought possible. The Confederation ships, once seemingly invincible, found themselves outmatched by human ingenuity and ferocity. As the Prometheus prepared to jump to light speed, a massive Confederation dreadnought emerged from hyperspace. "All ships, focus fire on that dreadnought," Sarah ordered. "We can't let them stop the Prometheus." In a daring maneuver, Sarah piloted her fighter directly into the dreadnought's main weapon array. At the last second, she ejected, her ship exploding and disabling the Confederation vessel's primary armaments. "Prometheus is away," came the cry over the comms. "Captain Chen, can you read us?" "Sarah." For a heart-stopping moment, there was silence. Then, a weak signal. "This is Phantom. I'm alive. Don't celebrate yet. We've still got a war to win." As news of the Prometheus's successful mission spread, the balance of power shifted once again. With access to the Confederation's FTL network, humanity could strike anywhere, anytime. In the Galactic Confederation's capital, chaos reigned. High Counselor Zaxanar faced a full-scale revolt as more and more member species declared their independence, inspired by Earth's example. "You fool," spat a Zorn delegate, his crystalline form shimmering with rage. "Your hubris has doomed us all. The humans were never the real enemy. It was our own tyranny." As Zaxanar's guards dragged the delegate away, the High Counselor felt the foundations of his power crumbling. In his desperation, he turned to the only option left, a terrible weapon long hidden away, deemed too dangerous to use. As the Prometheus prepared to jump to light speed, a massive Confederation dreadnought emerged from hyperspace. "All ships, focus fire on that dreadnought," Sarah ordered. "We can't let them stop the Prometheus." In a daring maneuver, Sarah piloted her fighter directly into the dreadnought's main weapon array. At the last second, she ejected, her ship exploding and disabling the Confederation vessel's primary armaments. "Prometheus is away," came the cry over the comms. "Captain Chen, can you read us?" "Sarah." For a heart-stopping moment, there was silence. Then, a weak signal. "This is Phantom. I'm alive. Don't celebrate yet. We've still got a war to win." As news of the Prometheus's successful mission spread, the balance of power shifted once again. With access to the Confederation's FTL network, humanity could strike anywhere, anytime. In the Galactic Confederation's capital, chaos reigned. High Counselor Zaxanar faced a full-scale revolt as more and more member species declared their independence, inspired by Earth's example. "You fool," spat a Zorn delegate, his crystalline form shimmering with rage. "Your hubris has doomed us all. The humans were never the real enemy. It was our own tyranny." As Zaxanar's guards dragged the delegate away, the High Counselor felt the foundations of his power crumbling. In his desperation, he turned to the only option left, a terrible weapon long hidden away, deemed too dangerous to use. "Prepare the Nexus cannon," he ordered, his voice trembling. "If we can't rule the galaxy, we'll unmake it entirely." Back on Earth, in the Unified Command Center beneath Geneva, President Carter received the alarming news. "A weapon capable of unraveling the fabric of space-time?" she asked, her face pale but resolute. Dr. Chen nodded gravely. If they activate it, it won't just be Earth at risk. The entire galaxy, perhaps the universe itself, could be torn apart. Carter's eyes hardened. Then we have no choice. All forces, this is President Carter. Our final objective is clear. We must stop the Confederation from activating the Nexus cannon, no matter the cost. The fate of everything we know depends on it. As humanity and its allies prepared for the final battle, a strange calm settled over the galaxy. Species that had been at war for millennia now stood together, united against a common threat. The Confederation's greatest mistake, challenging humanity, had led to this moment, where the future of all life hung in the balance. In the depths of space, aboard the flagship of Earth's Grand Fleet, General Harper addressed the assembled forces. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder with aliens of all shapes and sizes, a testament to how far they'd come. "We started this war fighting for our survival," Harper began, his voice carried across 1,000,000 ships. "Now we fight for something greater, for freedom, for justice, for a future where no species need fear tyranny. Whatever happens next, know this, together, we've already changed the galaxy forever." As the fleet prepared to jump towards the Confederation capital, towards their date with destiny, a sense of unity and purpose filled every heart, human and alien alike. The Confederation's mistake in challenging humanity had led to this, the dawn of a new era for all sentient life. The final battle was about to begin, and its outcome would echo across the cosmos for eons to come. A new dawn for the galaxy. The combined fleet of Earth and its allies dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Confederation capital system. Hundreds of thousands of ships, representing dozens of species, moved into formation. At the center of the armada was the HSS Unity, Earth's most powerful warship. Commanding the fleet from its bridge stood Admiral Sarah Chen, once known as Phantom. "All ships, report in," Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of trillions of lives resting on her shoulders. One by one, the fleet's battle groups sounded off. Humans, Zorn crystals, Cirction tree people, and countless other species, all united against the Confederation's tyranny. On the planet below, High Counselor Zaxnar watched the approaching fleet with a mixture of fear and defiance. "Activate the Nexus cannon," he ordered, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "If we fall, the galaxy falls with us." Deep within the planet's core, ancient machinery groaned to life. The Nexus cannon, a weapon of unimaginable power, began to charge. Reality itself seemed to warp around the planet as space-time fluctuated under the cannon's influence. Aboard the Unity, alarms blared. "Admiral," the ship's AI reported, "we're detecting massive energy readings from the planet. The weapon is powering up." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "We need to buy time for our ground team. All ships, engage the Confederation fleet. Clearance granted for the Excalibur Protocol." The space above the Confederation capital erupted into the largest battle the galaxy had ever seen. Energy weapons flashed, missiles streaked across the void, and ships exploded in silent bursts of light. The Confederation's defenses were formidable, but they faced a force driven by the unbreakable will to survive and thrive. On the surface of the capital planet, a small team led by General Jack Harper and Dr. Elena Rodriguez fought their way towards the Nexus Cannon's control center. They were a motley crew, hardened human soldiers fighting alongside alien resistance fighters, with Elena's scientific brilliance guiding their way. "The cannon's quantum field is intensifying," Elena shouted over the din of battle. "We don't have much time." Jack nodded grimly, hefting his energy rifle. "Then we make our own time. Zakhthar, think you can get us through that barrier?" The silicon-based alien's crystalline form glowed as it interfaced with the Confederation's systems. "I can give you 30 seconds, General. Make them count." As Zakhthar hacked the defenses, Jack turned to his team. "Remember why we're here. Not just for Earth, but for every being that's ever suffered under the Confederation's rule. Today, we set the galaxy free. With a roar, the united forces charged into the control center. The fighting was fierce, but the defenders were overwhelmed by the sheer determination of the attackers. As the last Confederation guard fell, Alina rushed to the main console. "The cannon's nearly charged," she said, her fingers flying over the alien controls. "I can't shut it down, but I think I can redirect it." In orbit, the battle hung in the balance. The Unity shuddered as it took another hit, its shields flickering. "Admiral," her XO reported, "our forward sections are critical. We can't take much more of this." Sarah gritted her teeth, watching as more Allied ships winked out of existence. They were winning, but at a terrible cost. "We hold the line," she declared, "no matter what." "We." Her words were cut off as a blinding light erupted from the planet below. The Nexus cannon had fired. For a moment, it seemed as if all of creation held its breath. Then, impossibly, the beam curved, arcing away from the Allied fleet and into the heart of the Confederation's mighty citadel. On the planet's surface, Alina stared at the console in disbelief. "It worked," she whispered. "We've turned their own weapon against them." The citadel, seat of the Confederation's power for millennia, began to crumble. As it fell, the Confederation fleet's coordination collapsed. Ship after ship surrendered or fled. In the ruins of the control center, High Counselor Zaxonar lay trapped beneath a fallen beam. As Jack approached, the alien leader looked up with eyes full of fear and incomprehension. "Why?" Zaxonar croaked. "Why couldn't we break you?" Jack knelt beside the fallen tyrant, his voice soft but firm. "Because you never understood us. Humanity doesn't break. We adapt. We overcome. And we're at our strongest when we stand together, not just with each other, but with all who yearn for freedom." As the dust settled and the enormity of their victory sank in, a new challenge emerged: building a galaxy free from the Confederation's oppressive rule. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered on Earth, once a backwater planet, now the symbol of liberty for countless species. In a grand assembly hall, President Carter addressed the gathering. "We've won our freedom," she began, "but that's just the beginning. Now we must forge a new future, one of cooperation, not subjugation, of exploration, not exploitation. The Galactic Confederation sought to rule through fear. Let us build something greater, a galactic alliance, founded on hope." The hall erupted in cheers, the sound of dozens of alien languages blending into a cacophony of joy and possibility. As the delegates began the monumental task of shaping this new alliance, Earth found itself at the center of a rapidly changing galaxy. Universities across Earth opened their doors to alien students, eager to share knowledge and learn in return. The reverse-engineered technology that had won the war now paved the way for unparalleled scientific advancement. Diseases were cured, clean energy became abundant, and the stars themselves seemed within reach. Yet, humanity never forgot the lessons of the war. As they ventured out into the galaxy, humans carried with them a deep respect for diversity and a commitment to protecting the rights of all sentient beings. Decades later, on a beautiful Earth summer day, an aging Sarah Chen stood at a podium, preparing to address a graduating class of the newly formed Galactic Academy. The audience was a vibrant mix of humans and aliens, all eager to shape the future of their new society. "When I was your age," Sarah began,